High in the windswept hills of Tuscany, where the mist lingers like a veil over ancient olive groves and forgotten Roman roads, there lies the ruins of a convent few dare to speak of. The locals call it Monte dell'Anima, the Hill of Souls. For centuries, travelers have reported whispers among the trees, red candles burning in empty corridors, and the toll of a bell that no longer hangs. Its true name has been erased from church records, and the Vatican has repeatedly denied its existence. But the stories haven't faded. If anything, they've grown darker, more detailed. The most chilling tale comes from the year 1957, when a Vatican ethnographer named Father Luca Bellori was sent to investigate the ruins following rumors of Marian apparitions. He never returned. Only his leather-bound field journal was recovered, buried in the hollow of a tree at the foot of the hill. That journal would tell a story of possession, blood rituals, and a sainted nun who was anything but holy. Father Luca Bellori arrived in late October, at the height of all. The skies were overcast, and the narrow roads to Monte dell'Anima were nearly impassable. Locals warned him not to go. They light candles there, an old woman had said at the inn, but there's no one left to pray. The convent had been abandoned since 1803, following the sudden death of every remaining nun within its walls. Official records blamed a plague, but survivors whispered of a black mass, led by the abbess herself. Father Bellori was not superstitious. He believed in God, not ghost stories. When he arrived, the gates stood open. The convent was made of crumbling stone and creeping ivy. There was a chapel, a cloister, and a bell tower, though the bell itself had been shattered and lay in fragments. In the courtyard he set up camp in the old infirmary, lighting candles as night fell. The silence was oppressive. Then came the sound of footsteps, light, barefoot. He followed them through the corridor. At the end, he found an altar newer, one not matching the church's original Romanesque style. Upon it lay a cracked marble statue of Saint Agatha, veiled in red silk. That's when he saw the first vision. A woman in white, floating just beyond the candlelight, her face hidden by a blood-red veil. He tried to speak, but she vanished. He documented the event in his journal. Apparition of veiled female, possibly hallucination. Felt coldness, whispered Latin phrases, some resembling corrupted liturgy. The next day he discovered something far worse. Behind the altar, beneath rotted planks, he found a stairwell descending into darkness. The catacombs. The air was thick with mildew and the scent of old blood. As he descended with a lantern, he found walls painted with ancient symbols, some Phoenician, some Etruscan, and others unknown. At the heart of the underground chamber was a sarcophagus, that it bore no Christian markings, only the sigil of a womb, surrounded by what looked like thorns. He opened it. Inside was a skeleton, female, wrapped in crimson silk, but her skull bore a crown of iron thorns fused to the bone. In her pelvic cavity, impossibly, was the mummified body of a fetus fully intact. He recorded in his journal, this was no burial, this was a vessel, a womb. He began to hear crying at night. Not a woman but a child. There were no children. For miles. On the fourth day, he stopped writing in Latin. He switched to Italian. His entries became erratic. Il bambino non dorme. The child does not sleep. She comes to me at night. She sings in a tongue I don't know, but my soul understands. He began to lose time. He would wake up in different parts of the convent, sometimes kneeling, sometimes covered in ash. Once he awoke at the top of the bell tower, despite it having no accessible stairs. The bell tolled that night. He documented it in red ink. The bell rang. The unborn priest has awakened. That night, he saw her clearly, the veiled bride. She stood in the chapel, her arms outstretched, blood dripping from beneath her silk veil. Behind her, the walls bled. Icons of the Virgin Mary had wept black tears. He screamed but could not move. Then he heard the baby cry again, but this time, it was inside him. He clutched his stomach in agony. He vomited blood in the final entry of his journal. He scrawled one sentence in a language no one could decipher. Vatican linguists would later determine it was a mixture of Aramaic, Latin, and Old Tuscan, roughly translated. The convent is no longer a sanctuary, it is a womb, and I am its father. His journal was found by a local shepherd weeks later. Father Bellori was never seen again. In 1989, a team of Vatican exorcists attempted to cleanse the ruins. Only one returned. He was blind, and his tongue had been cut out. He carved one word repeatedly into the walls of his asylum cell, mother stepmother, which, to this day, the bell of Monte dell'Anima tolls at midnight on the Feast of All Saints, and those who hear it often disappear within a year. The Vatican refuses to comment, but deep beneath the earth, Something still grows in the dark, and it is waiting to be born again.